Hey guys, I'm going to walk you through our next essay for the coming 6 weeks. It's an evaluative essay, and what the evaluative essay does is it helps you to set up criteria to evaluate or judge something, and then judge those things against that set of criteria. So then you can rank the items that you've decided to evaluate. To introduce this assignment, I'm going to have you look at the sample evaluative paper first. I think that's probably the best way for you to get the idea. So you can find that document in Google Classroom. So here it is, though. I've got it on the screen. We're looking at the sample evaluative paper. It's a short version of what I would like you to do. So I put it all into MLA format. There's the title page. I'm going on to the second page, which, as you know, is the first page of the paper. The paper starts off with an intro paragraph. You'll notice that this paper does have subheadings. So the actual intro paragraph doesn't. It just has the title, but the rest of the paper will have subheadings. Anyways, back to the intro paragraph. So the intro paragraph says, "There's considerable controversy about which Dallas cheeseburger joint is the best, but a close look at popular Dallas restaurants using Gourmand's criteria reveals an unexpected winner. A juicy patty, tasty bun, and a great ambiance make for a winning burger restaurant. When these criteria are taken into consideration, Katy Trail Ice House emerges as a clear winner in the Dallas burger competition." All right, so as you can see in that paragraph, in this paper, I'm going to be evaluating cheeseburger restaurants in Dallas, and I'm going to be evaluating them based on 3 criteria: a juicy patty, tasty bun, and a great ambiance. Okay, so that's all in my intro paragraph. After that, we get to the first half of the paper, which are your criteria. So in this section, you're going to list, for whatever it is you're going to evaluate, the things that you think really set a good thing apart from a bad thing. So for me, again, it's, if you look up here, it's the patty, the burger patty, that's in the first paragraph. The second paragraph is the bun, and then the third paragraph is the ambiance of the restaurant. So those are my 3 criteria. Each of them get their own paragraph, and in that paragraph I describe what I mean. So like in the first one, I describe what I mean by the patty. The second one, what I mean by the bun, and then the third one, I give details what I mean by the restaurant. In the second half of the paper, so once I've established those criteria, I go on to the second half of the paper, and that's where I actually evaluate the burgers themselves. So I go to 3 different restaurants. I go to Jacob's Burger and Beer, I go to Darriette, and I go to Katy Trail Ice House. And for each of those restaurants, I evaluate the burgers with those 3 criteria. And then in my concluding paragraph, I say which one meets the most criteria, so that one's the best. So that's all that evaluative paper is. It's just like 2 halves. The first half is where you set up the criteria, and then the second half is where you do the actual evaluation. All right, so some notes. For this evaluative section, you actually have to go out and try these things. So I had to go out and eat cheeseburgers. It was a very difficult job, but I did it. So same for you. If you're, whatever it is you're going to evaluate, you've got to go out and try it. So if you want to evaluate toothpaste, got to try the different kinds of toothpaste. If you want to evaluate eyeshadow, got to go out and try the different types of eyeshadow. If you want to, evaluate the best ice cream shop or the best coffee shop or the best pizza place, like you need to go out and actually evaluate those things. So this part of the paper, the evaluation, is actually based on your judgment. The first half, where you set up the criteria, that's where you do your research. So you've got to go through and find experts who say that your criteria are good ones. So for me, for the burger patties, I quoted Danilo Alfaro, who is a food critic. For the burger, I quoted Kenji Lopez Alt, who is an editor at Serious Eats. For the restaurant, I quoted Scott Andrews, who's a restaurant operations manager. So I do have research that back up my criteria and say that these criteria are good. So that's where I do my research. I just find experts in those things, and I find quotations for them. But the second part, it's all me. Like, now that I've decided that these judge criteria are good, I'm going to go and test these different things against them. So that's what you're doing for this paper. Yeah, so choose something that you really, want to try out. Some things that don't work well are cars. Like, I don't know, I've just never really seen a good paper about a car, like evaluating cars, because there's so many variables and people don't really get to drive them. Although they say they do, they're lying. Um, Other things that don't work well are ranking sports figures, because you're just really looking at a bunch of statistics and not trying things out. So that doesn't work very well. Sports equipment doesn't work because there's not that much of a difference, really, like not enough of a difference to write a research paper about it. And running shoes don't work that great either. Those are just some things that students have tried over the years that haven't worked very well. So that is that part of the paper. That's the sample. So think what you want to do. The next thing that I'm going to have you look at is the actual direction sheet. So that's over here. This page gives more detailed directions. Just so you know, the paper should be 3 to 4 pages. Your first draft is a prospectus and lit review. In your prospectus, you're going to tell me what your criteria are, and then now tell me what you're going to be evaluating. And then in your lit review, you need to tell me what your different sources are going to be. And then after that, the second, third, and final drafts will be the actual drafts. The due dates for the paper, the first draft is due next Wednesday, second draft the following Wednesday, the third draft is due the Wednesday after Thanksgiving, and then the fourth draft is due the Wednesday after that. So you do have some time before the first draft is due. So what you'll need to do is really think about the topic. Think about what you can actually test out. What do you have the budget to do? Maybe you don't have the budget to go to, 3 or 4 different cheeseburger restaurants in the next week. That's absolutely fine. But you can try French fries or, cheese fries or whatever. So check with your parents to see what they can realistically drive you to, if they need to drive you places, or what they have the budget for, in case you don't have your own cash to do this. But you don't have to, spend money. There are plenty of things that you can evaluate for free. So be thinking about that when we get back together on Wednesday. I'll be wanting to know what it is you're doing. All right, so there's that. You can get started on that, start thinking about it, and then get something worked up in your head for the next time we meet. All right, talk to you soon.